August 28th, 2017. Welcome to the Philly Podcast. Now, today, all right, so first of all, let me know in the live chat if something sounds different here. Because I'm using new headphones and things kind of seem different. I guess, I don't know. I can definitely hear the friggin' mic being a pain in the ass. See? Oh, God. All right, but, so just let me know if you hear anything different in the live chat. Let's begin with the fight that broke down Saturday night. Um, McGregor, for a UFC guy, for a guy that's been in the UFC for a while, I didn't think he did that bad. I mean, yes, he did lose. Many people had him losing. Many people were wrong, a lot, very wrong, about how he wasn't going to last very long, how there was going to be a lot of blood, and how the whole ring would turn into a swimming pool of blood. But they were very wrong when it came to that. They were very, very wrong. So, I thought he had a chance. I gave him a chance to win. And, had he, he, the fact that he was going against an experienced boxer, I think made him lose. If you were to throw that guy against Pacquiao, I think he would win. But the fact that he was going against Mayweather, it was just, when it came for them to get in the ring, Mayweather was more of a boxer. But McGregor, if he was a boxer, he'd be very good. He'd be very, very good. The big problem with the fight for McGregor, was he didn't put his hands up over, over his face in defense, kind of like what Mayweather was doing. I think that was a big thing. He was just trying to just go for the punch, but while Mayweather was just socking him right in the face. He had an open shot. But McGregor did get his shots in. If he was more of if he defended a little bit more, I guess you could say. I'm not really much of a boxing expert, but if he defended a little bit more, I think he'd be very. I think he would. I think the fight would have been lasted a little bit longer. But it wasn't a bad fight. It really wasn't. I didn't really watch it. I got the updates. I didn't want to pay $100 because, God forbid, it could have been a bad fight. I think they probably should have narrowed it down to $50. That's me, but hey, that's how they make their money. All right, so yeah, just let me know your thoughts. Today we're gonna get into a lot of college football, and then before we begin with the college football stuff, how about Reese Hoskins? How about Reese Hoskins? This guy, I went to the game Friday night. This guy is tearing it up, tearing it up. I'm watching the replay, the game in 30 back. I think you can pick up a lot of sound noise with this mic. I don't know. I didn't get a new mic. It's just the new headphones are being a pain in the ass. Anyway, Reese Hoskins hitting 11 home runs in 18 games, going yard 11 times in 18 games. Now I'm gonna say the same exact thing that I said about. I wasn't. I think the podcast wasn't around while this was going on. But if people remember what I've been talking about, if you listen and you see me a lot and you talk to me a lot, then you'll know what I'm talking about here. Saying after the Flyers, what's going on? No, sorry. After the Flyers went on their 10-game winning streak back in December, I said that they need to keep this up. This streak. What the hell happened? Huh? All right, I'm switching. Hold on. Yeah, all right. My mic's being a pain in the ass. After the 10-game winning streak back in December, I said that they have to keep this up. I said that they have to keep this up. They have to be consistent, and because the streak was going to end at some point, they have to be consistent. After the streak ended, they weren't consistent at all. That's what led them not to make the playoffs. They were a good hockey team to make the playoffs, and it was mostly the coaching. I don't think Hextall was a very good coach. The same thing I say with Hoskins. At some point, I mean, yes, he's not the big thing is he is not on the home. The fact that he's hitting 11 home runs in 18 games. I mean, in a way, it's sort of a streak. He is on a home run streak, but at some point, it's gonna end. The dramatic numbers might end, but he has to stay consistent. He has to. I think he has a better chance of being a consistent hitter than the Flyers winning, being consistent after. There's the replay. I'm switching. Hold on, I'm switching my earphones. Sorry, I had to switch my headphones. All right, yeah, they just replayed the home run on TV in the game in 30, but I think he has a better chance of making, of hitting more consistent than the Flyers winning, being consistent after their 10-game winning streak back in December. I know it's two different sports. I know it's a single player versus a team, but you know he has to be consistent. He has to be consistent if he wants to keep stuff up. What's up, Chris? Um, so yeah, I mean he has to be consistent. That's the big thing. Um, so yeah, I mean he's starting to he's starting to get some pretty big attention, rightfully so. I think he's the first player to hit 11 home runs in his first 18 games. I think he's on pace to hit 20 home runs. Um, to at least end the season with the 20 mark. Obviously, the way he might, yeah, I mean, the way he's going, he might do that before the month of September. I mean, that might be, obviously that's pushing it a little bit. But it's just making, he's trying to get he's dragging more people in to watch the Phillies. That's what I'm trying to say here. He's making the Phillies a lot bearable to watch. So yeah. Um, so this weekend we have some very big college football games. Starting Thursday night, it's Ohio State, Indiana. That's a mark that game. That's going to be a big game. You obviously have Florida, Michigan. You have Florida State, Alabama. Very big game. Opening up the stadium down in Atlanta. Um, those are three big games to keep your eye on this weekend. Plus, you have Notre Dame playing Temple. You have Penn State playing Akron. Those are two very big games. I mean, obviously, I mean, those two games obviously might get one-sided, but for Penn State, it is a very. I think it's you get to. I mean, for what I'm trying to say here is college football. This is the first week that you can learn a lot about your college football team. I think it's big with Penn State because I think Penn State has a very good shot at making the playoff this year. I mean, if they can get through, and Ohio, it's a tough game for Penn State. Two teams, then they have something. Then they have a very good shot at making the playoff, and obviously going back to the Big Ten championship game, and doing all that. But I think they have a lot better chance of making the playoff because after week 4 last year, Penn State, it was typical. I mean, it was just Penn. It was typical Penn State. People were calling. This is after the loss to Michigan. People were calling for Franklin's head. People, were furious. I mean, it's a 2-2 team. It's a mediocre college football team. At that point, it was going to be the typical Penn State, more like the 2015 Penn State team. But as they started to win and win and win and start, he apparently Franklin just said to McSorley, "You got it." McSorley played balls out for the rest of the season. Obviously, going to the Big Ten champions, they won some pretty big football games, including the game against Ohio State. They won some very big football games. They moved in the Big Ten championship game. They beat Wisconsin. They won in the Rose Bowl. People were furious after they didn't get the playoff bid. And who would you rather take? The one-loss team in Washington, a one-loss conference champ, or a two-loss conference champ? With two very good teams in that conference, in the same division, with Ohio State and Michigan. Michigan obviously didn't get the bid because they lost to Ohio State, but Michigan and Ohio State were much better than Penn State last year, and Ohio State beat Michigan, which proved to be yes, Penn State did beat Ohio State, but Ohio State won a couple. They beat Michigan in a very big game. So Ohio State did deserve to get in the playoff. But when it comes to what it comes down to is, would you rather take the one-loss conference champ in Washington or a two-loss conference champ in Penn State? And the committee, they chose Washington. Penn State fans are still pissed off to this day, and I think the committee made the right move. I think they did. Washington won. Penn State, yes, they did beat Ohio State. Yes, they did beat Wisconsin in the championship, but they lost to Michigan. They lost to Pitt. Other than those two games, they didn't really win much many. They beat Michigan. Then yes, they definitely. If they beat Pitt or Michigan, yes, I do believe that they should have made it in, but no, they didn't. If a loss kills in college football, losses kill. They kill. It's not like the pros where, and also when you win, you have to make yourself look good when you win. You have to blow out teams. You have to win. You have to, run away with it, I guess you could say. So, you have to make yourself really look good in college football as opposed to pro football. You have to win. It's more about, a win's a win, You got to get it done. In some way, shape, or form, you got to win a game. Losses hurt in the pro game, but, you play 16 games. It's divisions. Also, I don't think the pro game has much more of a... I don't think the home field advantage in the pro game... I don't think it's as big as home field advantage in the college game because, in the college game, if you have a home field advantage, you could be a very good team. You could be a very good team, especially in primetime games. Watch some of the primetime games this year. You see what a home field advantage does. It's very, 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 very hard to win a road game in college football. Don't get me wrong; it's hard to win a road game. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about the away. If you're an away team, it's very hard to win an away game in college football. It's harder to win a road game in college football as opposed to winning a road game in the pros. Because in college football is bigger stadiums than the pros. And you have the band in your face, you have a student section in your face, and you're trying to make some plays, which is very, very tough. But back to Penn State, I think that they have a better shot. Like I said, I recapped them. I really talked about them in my last podcast, but it's the beginning. It's the start of what could be a playoff-bound season for Penn State this Saturday as they take on Akron. Will Saquon Barkley be as good as advertised? Will Trace McSorley work better in the passing game with the loss of Chris Godwin? We'll see. I think the two eyes are on the quarterback and the running back in this game because this is a very big season for the Nittany Lions. It's a very big season. Big things are bound to happen. I like that they start with Akron too. Obviously, since I'm anti-Penn State, but still, it's good for them that they start with Akron because they can figure out what the pieces to the puzzle, as opposed to, in college football, you don't have a preseason. You don't. Yes, you have camp, you have practice, but you don't play preseason games like the pros. You don't see who fits in. You can't find the pieces to your puzzle. You have to figure it out during the game. And it's crucial. You have to figure it out quicker if you're playing a better team. Like look at Michigan and Florida. Look at Alabama, Florida State. They have to be set and ready to go. Notre Dame's starting with Temple this weekend. Notre Dame's I think Notre Dame's set. And their starting offense is set. Their starting defense is set. You look at Temple. They have to figure out who the quarterback's going to be. Who has the advantage? Notre Dame, because they have their team set. What killed Notre Dame against Texas last year, what would have set them apart in that very first game, is if they started Kaiser. They kept them in the game. They were figuring out the pieces to the quarterback puzzle, whether to play Kaiser, who would fit in, or Zaire, because Zaire was a very good quarterback. He was a pretty good quarterback. Turned out Kaiser was a better fit, and it cost them 2 drives. It's a risk. It is a big risk. You have to figure this stuff out before the season. That's one of the disadvantages of being a college football team. You don't have a preseason. You don't. You can't decide in 4 preseason games, or mostly 3 preseason games in college football. In the NFL, you can decide in 3 or 4 preseason games who your starting quarterback is going to be. As opposed to college football, you're going you're seeing the same defense, the same guys, instead of different defense and better defense. My point is, these teams, the benefit of starting with a bad team like Akron, or a bad team, or a team that's really not, that's, I guess you could say, not good, or not prepared. Decision, is, the benefit of playing one of those teams, obviously on your side, because, they don't know what to do. They're not prepared. You can go in there, grab a win. So, I give the advantage to Notre Dame against Temple. I give the advantage to Akron, to Penn State over Akron. When it comes down to, for these teams, between is who is more prepared, who is ready to play. Starting quarterback, they have a running back, they have a receiver, you have your defense, you have everything set. Are you ready? The list of ingredients for the season, are you ready? It's the big thing. Because you're going to play the team. So Temple has a lot of decisions to make going into the season. They don't have quarterback. They don't have Jahad Thomas in the backfield. They don't have the defense is, you don't know where that's going to go. They have decisions to make as opposed to Notre Dame. They have all their starters out. They have all their starters ready. They have everything gone, ready to go. Then you look at Penn State. Yes, you have your starting quarterback and running back, but you get to see who's going to play the receiver, who's going to be the receiver, how the receiving core is going to be. You can make the adjustments. You can make the adjustment. Because, you're not really playing good football team. You're not. So, yeah. So so this week, Tuesday, tomorrow's the regular podcast. We'll probably do that, around this time again. Wednesday, Thursday, put a question mark on it because I have a commitment to do. I will have a commitment. So we'll see where that goes. I'll let you guys know. Friday, Friday we're recapping the Eagles Jets game, which won't really matter, but still we'll do it. We'll recap Ohio State, Indiana, and then I'll make my picks. Friday for the top 25. If I do on Thursday, if I have a chance on Thursday, I'll do my picks then for the top 25 of college football. Then obviously next week we all go to 4 o'clock and all that nonsense starts. So yeah. The show's not ending. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're not ending yet. Still have some time. Only gone 20 minutes. Shit. So, Phillies play the Braves tonight. Now, back to baseball. How about Stanton? 50 home runs. 50. He's on fire. He is on fire. He's not plagued by injury. He's I don't know what's going to happen with him, whether he'll go to another team. He's going to ask for a big contract. Maybe the Phillies might get him. You never know. You never know. Nothing has been shut down about not getting Stanton. It has not been shut down. So, you don't know where that's going to go. So, I think he'll either stay or he'll go in Miami. One of the two. But he is a very good player. He is a very good player. Obviously, since he's hit 50 home runs, 50, I think he's on pace for probably maybe. He's on pace for 60. I think he's going to get 60. 70 is a question mark. 70 is a question mark for him. Very hard. And no, I don't think he's on juice. I think he's, you look at him. Look at him. He's a big dude. He's hitting shots in a very big ballpark. Now, you throw him at Citizens Bank Park, I'm telling you, he's going to hit. And in one healthy season, he's going to hit at least 10 to 15 in Ashburn Alley. 10 to 15. Either in 10 to 15 in Ashburn Alley, 10 to 15 in the second deck in left field. And I won't be surprised if he hits a few scoreboard shots. No one's ever done that. Maybe in batting practice, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he did in batting practice, hit a few up in the scoreboard. I don't know. I really don't know. What the fuck? Who's making noises? Dan. So he will be a very, 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 very good fit in Citizens Bank Park. He will be. You shut the door. Oh my god, noise. But Stanton will be a very big fit in the Citizens Bank Park. Said that 2 times now. I mean, that's, I'm telling you, 10 to 15 Ashburn Alley shots, and definitely a couple second left field shots, and maybe a scoreboard shot. Maybe to Harry the K's up there. Who knows? He's just crazy good. He's crazy good. All right, so let's look at the pitching matchup. It's the Braves. I think we're going to sweep them. I mean, we've always beaten the Braves. We're coming off a two. We've taken 2 out of the 3 from the Cubs. So I mean, we're just hot. Nola's on the mound. I think we're going to win tonight. Will Hoskins hit another home run? We'll see. I mean, I think if he hits another home run, I think he's on pace. He's going to hit a lot more, obviously. Sims is on the mound for Atlanta, 2-3. What's his ERA? 4.13 ERA. Nola's on the mound, 9.9, 3.58. So I mean, we could see a little bit of a matchup tonight. So who knows? Also, Hoskins, I totally forgot about this. Hoskins made a triple play yesterday. I mean, he's not really been. I think it was obviously a base running error, but he hasn't. I don't think he's obviously not been very good in the outfield. I mean, they're just putting him there to keep him in the lineup. I don't see Tommy Joseph being here after the season because he's at the plate. I mean, he's been outplayed. Hoskins is just tearing it up. So I mean, he's been outplayed. I mean, he's been hitting shots. So I mean, he's our first baseman going forward. Obviously, what's going on? I'm done. We gotta stop. Sorry. Please. Sorry. Jesus Christ. He's a pain in the ass. Jesus. We're at 27, trying to hit 35. All right. So I don't think there's that much to talk about. I mean, the Eagles. I mean, it's coming to the point in the preseason where there's really nothing to talk about. It's the no one gives a shit preseason game coming Thursday night. Eagles Jets. I'm gonna watch that. It's just. It's let's look at the Eagles before we move to play Washington, which will be next week. We know that next. It's going to be Sunday, which is just big. I mean, it was just it's been 2 weeks from yesterday. I cannot wait. I cannot wait till that starts. It's a big divisional game, big football game. I mean, we'll talk about that as next week. But I can't wait. I really can't wait till that starts. I mean, we get to really see how this team's going to shape up. So yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. So I walk in from church yesterday, and I went to 5 o'clock mass. I come back. My phone is buzzing. My phone is absolutely. Apparently there was a few big trades that went down in my league. Now, they involved the commissioner. Him and this other guy They're both frequent listeners. Okay, they're the frequent listeners. Are obsessed with trading. They are obsessed with trading. So we are going to run through, and then they decided to trade with somebody else. We're going to run through all the trades that happened yesterday to see how much of a trade rape these trades turn out to be. If it loads, if my damn phone loads. Shut the door. All right. Here we go. All right, so yesterday. Here we go. Here it is. It's one kid traded away. Stephon Diggs, Rodgers, Lamar Miller. Oh, wait. Hold on. No, my bad. This is more of a trade rape than that one. Hold on. I gotta shut the door because my friggin' brother never does. Here we go. Davis. Here we go. Jordan Howard, Jeremy Maclin. This guy, C. Davis for Devontae Freeman. Holy shit. So, hold on. This guy, C. Davis. Who is that? Carlos Davis? What? I forget his name. Corey Davis, my bad. Corey Davis, Jordan Howard, who I don't think is going to be that good, and Jeremy Maclin, who was not really going to be that good. I mean, he's not really going to be that good either. For Devontae Freeman, who is a top 10 running back. Now, you could make the argument that Jordan Howard was a top running back, but he's hurt. The Bears have nothing. So, I mean, that's just a trade rape. It is just a trade rape. So, yeah, I just brought that up because there's nothing else to talk about. So, I wanted to reach 30 minutes. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I mean, it was sort of eventful with my brother coming in, and he's a pain in the ass, but, so. All right, I'll see you guys.